Welcome to Omnitrain. In goes your offer and out comes winning ads. Here in this presentation, I'm going to introduce you to how you can create winning ads in our system, regardless of what skill level that you might be at, and regardless of what product or service that you may be selling. I want to make it clear that Omnitrain can create ads for any niche. Omnitrain is an AI ad generation tool that specializes in generating highly resonant marketing creatives with a focus on attention capture. Omnitrain is for founders, it's for marketers, it's even for designers who want to instantly create ads at scale while at the same time conserving their creative fuel. When you've got Omnitrain on your side, it's like having an army of media buyers, artists, and copywriters all working together at light speed to spin up new creative that's going to inspire your prospects to click, click, click. I also want to be clear about what Omnitrain is not. You might have experienced other tools in the market that claim to do AI generated ads, but in actuality, they're not true AI. Our experience is that many of those tools out there are masquerading as AI, but they're actually just baked in stock photos or templates that require you to upload your own assets and things like that. So I want to make it clear, Omnitrain is not a template system. It's not a stock photo bank, and it's not a stock asset editor. This is a true dynamics generation system that's built from the ground up to maximize emotional connection with your ICP so that those folks are going to feel inclined to click your ads. So in the next few moments, we're going to learn together how to create amazing ads using Omnitrain's AdCraft tool. Let's jump in. Welcome to the Omnitrain form. This is kind of like a Mad Lib style form, and it's a robust structure for creating ads by our own patented framework. We have something we like to call it our Omni Resonance engine running in the background, and we're just simply feeding into that engine the fuel that it's going to need to generate winning ads. Now, there are two ways to approach this. You'll see on the top left where we have the advanced mode. And in the advanced mode, we have more capabilities. In the basic flow, we're allowing the AI to make all the decisions on the ad generation. Whereas in the advanced mode, it's an opportunity for you to put your hands on the steering wheel so that you can drive the creative direction of the ad generation. So let's cover the basics here. First up, we want to plug in what is it that we are looking to sell. And now you can decide how specific that you want to be. Maybe you're selling a monthly loot box of some kind. Whatever it is that you are selling, you can plug that in. You can also plug in the offer if you want to. Like if you're doing, say, for example, a special free shipping for Valentine's Day or free shipping for Black Friday or something like that, or 20% off for Christmas. Whatever the case may be, you can plug in your product, you can plug in your offer, and so in goes your offer. Most likely, you're also going to want to specify who it is that you're targeting. And when you go about doing that, it's best to keep that description organic, okay? So this is going to feel a little bit different compared to the way that maybe you think about your ICP when you're actually plugging in your targeting on a place like Meta or other social platforms. So we're not plugging in things like 18 to 25 with an income above $90,000 that lives in this zip code. Not that you can't do that, but in order to best fuel the engine, we recommend keeping your description as organic as possible. So instead of saying that it's a person that's making over $90,000 a year, we would want to say that that's someone who is affluent, or perhaps we are talking about people who are 18 to 25. That might be young adults, or it might be young romantic couples, or it might be new homeowners, or it might be young families. So there's all kinds of different ways that you can organically describe that ICP. So now we will explore the different types of ads that we can create in Omnitrain. Each type of ad represents a fundamentally different approach of how we're going to establish the emotional connection between your offer and your audience. Our first type of ad are the avatar ads. Avatar ads show us a person who represents your ICP, and this person is achieving the desired result. They're experiencing the benefits of what you offer. And so the emotional connection that we're looking to establish with our avatar style ads is that our viewer is going to feel, man, I want to feel just like that. I want to be that person in that image, in that ad. I want that. I want to feel like that. Results ads are more focused on the outcome itself. So this could be something like we have a clean kitchen, we have a manicured lawn, we have a renovated bathroom. So whatever the case, results ads are less focused on the person and more focused on the object or the outcome. But ultimately, the emotional connection that we are establishing with our result style ads is that a person should get the feeling, I wish I had a result just like that. I want that result that I'm seeing in front of me. Pain ads are kind of the opposite of our avatar style ads. Our pain ads are going to reflect the prospect's current pain. It's like we're putting a mirror up to them and showing them this is how crummy and awful it feels to not have the solution. And so the emotional connection we're establishing with pain ads is that a person should feel like, oh man, that's how I'm feeling right now. And I don't want to feel this way anymore. I want to change my circumstances. And so each of these different types of ads represents a fundamentally different approach to the emotional connection. And that's essential because it's the emotional connection that compels our viewing audience to click. We can select the artistic style, and these different options allow us to mix things up. Variety is the spice of life. Through variety, we can beat ad creative fatigue, stand out in our market, and keep our buying audience engaged. And just so you know, not only can we select from 24 different art styles, we also have an experimental mode where you can simply describe the art style that you want, and the system will visualize that art style. You'll find that in the advanced mode, which is what we're going to cover next. So let's explore that advanced mode. When we activate the advanced mode, we have a lot more options. You may recall earlier that in the advanced mode, we're putting our hand on the steering wheel. And so we have this Mad Lib form like approach where we're able to communicate with the AI and make our special requests. So if I can draw up a metaphor here, it's kind of like when we go through the basic flow, it's kind of like ordering a combo at a restaurant, right? Give me the number 5. Whereas with the advanced flow, this is where we're saying things like, I don't want pickles. I want extra mayonnaise. I want my bun toasted. You're putting in your special requests when we step into the advanced mode. So let's explore each of the additional options available in this flow. First, we can designate where our targeted audience is located. And this is going to impact aspects of the creation, like what is called out in the copy of the ad. It's also going to specify what kind of setting to expect, what kind of regional demographics and cultural aspects are to be considered. We can also be specific here as much as we like. If we want to keep it broad, we could say the United States, we could say Europe, we could say Australia. If we want to get more specific, we can dial down to specific states or even specific cities, and the AI will accommodate this across both the image and the copy. Now we can determine the need that the product or service is looking to solve. So this is really important because this is kind of like the tip of the spear of our offer, right? There are many different reasons why our prospects might want our product. and different audiences might want our product for different reasons. And so we can dial in exactly which need we want to focus on in our creative direction. Now, the reality is there are some products out there that, the need is very apparent. And we can just, and typically we leave this field blank for those scenarios, but there are some products and services that might have many different needs. And so when we drill down on one, we are more likely to resonate with our target audience. Next, we'll explore the tone. I wish to speak to my audience in this manner. This is going to impact the style and tone of our ad copy. We can be formal, we can be casual, we can be detailed, we can keep it short and simple, we can even be sarcastic or funny. This allows us to fine tune how our messaging is going to speak to the audience. We've talked about the targeted audience, the need, and the tone. Now we're going to talk about the story elements. In my humble unbiased opinion, this is perhaps the most powerful field that we have in the advanced mode. We're controlling aspects around the theme of the ad, the setting, the details. We can be very broad here. We can tell it, I want romance in my ad narrative, or I want adventure, or I want transformation. We can also be more specific about aspects of the setting. So things like, I want there to be a sunset. I want mountains in the background. I want a vacation scene at a beach. And we can also request even specific elements like, I want there to be someone holding a jar of pickles, or I want there to be a sign, maybe a person holding a sign that says, buy Omnitrain. Whatever it is that you want to communicate in your story elements, you can place that here. And it's just like telling the system, I don't want pickles on my sandwich, or please add extra lettuce to my order. Whatever it is, you plug it in, the system will include that in the ad narrative for both the copy as well as the imagery. Next, we'll designate the number of people that we want in the ad image, whether that's an empty room or a crowd of people or a multitude, maybe a stadium full of people, or just a small family. You can designate that. You can use numbers here, or you can use descriptions like we have in the examples blank. So ultimately, you're deciding just how many people are going to be in the ad narrative. Next, we're going to decide how we want to influence the nuance of the emotional connection. I would like my product or service to make the audience feel something. I want them to feel delight. I want them to feel fear. I want them to feel love. Whatever emotion you wish to evoke in the ad narrative, this is the place where you can designate this. If you can describe the emotion, Omnitrain can bring it to life. We'll move on. We can designate the copy framework to be used in the ad narrative. This marketing copy framework can be, again, approached in the same ways that we've previously discussed. So, for example, if you want to use something like an established framework like the 4Ps or SLAP or Quest or ADA, you can plug these in and the system will understand those. You can also describe this organically. So, for example, many times people will want to use a specific viral hook of some kind. You can specify that viral hook. So you could tell it, hey, use this one weird trick. And the system will be able to structure your ad copy in that flow. Through these different fields, we can arrive closer to what we have in mind in our imaginations when we think about what is going to be a winning ad for our audience. So let's talk through an example of how these inputs influence your ad generation. So we're going to go through an example together. We're going to start with a few basics. We're telling the system that we want it to generate an ad that sells coffee. And many of the fields, we're going to let the system decide who is going to be sold on the targeting and some of the other parameters. Any field that you leave blank, the AI is going to take over those for you, so you don't have to think about them. In our example, we're going to shoot for a snowy mountain scene in Colorado. And so I tell it I want this located in Colorado. And we're also going to challenge the AI. We're going to tell it that I want a person holding up a sign that says in cursive writing that I want more coffee now. And so we're influencing the story elements of the ad. So let's see what we get on our first spin of the wheel. Here we go. With our 3 avatar style ads, we have 3 different characters, each holding a sign with the cursive writing that says I want more coffee now. We can also see that there's some variety in the ad copy, but each one is making reference to the local area. We've composed our ads and we have our 3 examples that matches our criteria as we requested. But maybe we look at this and we say to ourselves, I like this output, but I want to make a few tweaks here. Okay, so the way that you're going to make the tweaks is you just simply plug in what it is that you want different, just like so. So in this example, we have determined that we want there to be 2 people in our image instead of just one. And so now we see that the ad has changed. We see a person in the foreground and we see a person in the background. And maybe we look at this and we decide to ourselves, oh, yeah, but you know what? I actually want there to be some connection between these people. Let's specify that. And maybe the best way to do that is going to be the feeling of the ad. We're going to tell it, hey, let's introduce a little bit of companionship. So when we introduce that companionship element, look at there. Now the person in the background has been brought to the foreground. And now we have 2 people, they're holding the sign together, and we can see the emotion in their faces. We feel that emotional resonance between the 2 of them. So we have a new level of connection. So we've customized and tweaked our ad, but maybe we want to do something a little bit different. Let's change the whole feel of it, shall we? We've tried a different art style, and now instead of being the photorealistic, now we want to mix it up and throw in some caricature. So now we have our highly exaggerated cartoon characters with vividly expressive emotional faces. It's still sticking to the script here. We're in Colorado, we're in the mountains, we've got our companionship, and we've got our sign that says, I want more coffee. And so we can make sure that we're beating that ad fatigue by spinning up a variety of different ad creatives and different art styles. But maybe we want to play around with this a little bit more and do something different. So now we'll use the experimental art style and we'll introduce Lego. We just simply designated in our experimental art style field that we want Lego. And what do we know? We've now got Lego in our ad creative. Now, with this being the experimental art style, just know that sometimes this will have a significant impact on the final product here. And so sometimes the AI will do the best it can with the art style that you've chosen. And so you may see a little bit of variety here in how the system is choosing to best visualize what you're trying to do here. But ultimately, we're able to impact the creative imagery in striking ways. Maybe we want to change things around a little bit more. Maybe we're creating different kinds of ads that are going to fit in different places, different placements. So we can designate what size of aspect ratio that we want, square, landscape, or portrait. We can arrive at different sizes, and this is going to impact the shape and structure, just as you can see here across the different screens I've shown. We have different aspect ratios. Now our ads are at our desired size. Last, you may have noticed this little section on the bottom left where we have different ways of how we would like the product to be featured in the ad, whether the product is central, peripheral, or symbolic. So these allow us to shape the creative focus of the ad to either be more on the product or more on the end result, or for the 2 to be shared. By default, the system will select peripheral. So if you want to do something different, then you'll want to make that selection so that you're steering the AI more in the direction that you desire there for the creative focus. So there you have it. That is Omnitrain's AdCraft solution. Now it's your turn. You've seen what I've created. What are you going to create?